wanted to talk about cycling inversions. Chord cycles are a way of voice leading by changing some notes in one chord to form a different chord. This is common to do with diatonic voice leading. A simple example of that is taking a triad, 1, 3, 5, raising the fifth, so to have 1, 3, 6, and creating a new chord. Instead of 1, 3, 6, we would have 3, 5, 1 of the new chord. Cycle 6 for a triad. We're talking about seventh chords. We're talking about cycling. It becomes a little more complicated because 4 notes. And we're talking about cycling chord quality. We take one chord quality and cycle that, sticking with the same chord quality and applying a non-diatonic but an actual fixed intervallic change pattern, or ICP as I've notated it on here, to create a formula to go from one chord to another. There are actually more than one formula to go from one chord to chord A to chord B. We go from one chord to another chord. We can voice lead in different ways and we go from one version to another. That brings up the topic of what is the intervallic change pattern going to be? And well, the way to answer that question is to determine what is the order of inversions. Order of inversions is determined by, or as describing, what inversion goes after which inversion. So for cycle 4, which I'm going to explain with major 7 chords, we have a descending order of inversion and a staggered order of inversion. And there are 2 staggered inversions that use the same voice leading. And I'll explain the staggered first. The staggered voice leading, or staggered order of inversions, we're going from root position chord to a second inversion chord, or from a first inversion to a third inversion to a first inversion to a third inversion. And I'll demonstrate that really quickly. So for example, if we have C major 7 here in first inversion, and then we wanted to go to F major 7, right there, and some of the notes stay the same, and then from F we go a fourth away to B flat, to E flat, to A flat, and this is a very easy pattern to play because there's really only 2 shapes and they share some of the notes. The different inversion order is the descending order of inversions. There's also an ascending order of inversions. We can go root 1, 2, 3, but we're gonna economize on the size of the small whiteboard here for today and stick with a little bit more common is descending order of inversions for cycle 4. Staggered is definitely the most common. It's the most accessible sounding, easiest to play, very familiar. But descending order of inversions, we're going from root position to third inversion to second inversion to first inversion. And you'll notice here that I have the circle of fourths all written out. I highly recommend that when practicing these cycles, no matter which cycle it is, if it's cycle 2, it doesn't matter, write them out. Write all the notes out and then write down the inversions below that. Go ahead and write out the notes if that helps. I find that sometimes it does, but the most important thing is to write out the notes of the root. And below that we have the descending order of inversions. So we're going to play C in root position, F in third inversion, B flat in second inversion, E flat in first inversion, A flat in root, and so on until we get all the way back to where C and R line up. C is playing in root position again, and then we're starting at the top. The way that the descending order of inversions pattern works is a little more complicated than the staggered. So for the staggered order of inversions, we have 2 seventh chords here. 1, 3, 5, 7 is your first 7th chord, and we'll call that C. And we have a chord a fourth away. We're doing cycle 4. That chord is going to necessarily be F because F is a fourth away from C. So what happens in cycle 4, the root is going to remain unchanged. It's going to move by unison. And since we're doing harmony, no movement is notated as 1. It's 1 based instead of 0 based. sort of like our calendar. So root moves by unison to become the fifth. The third moves by unison to become the seventh. The fifth goes down a second to become the root of the new chord, F. And the seventh goes down a second to become the third of the new chord, resulting in an F major 7 chord with a fifth in the bass, so second inversion. And this correlates down to here, where we see started in root position with a C, and then we have F in second inversion. And then the next one we're going to play is B flat in root position with E flat in second inversion, and so on and so forth until we get back to C in root position. This is a simple pattern to play. The more complicated pattern now, which I'll explain, is the descending order of inversions. So here we have C major 7 C major 7, and then we have F major 7 with a seventh in the bass. So we're going from a root position chord to a third inversion chord. And the root is going to go up a third. The third is going up a minor second to become the root of the F. The fifth of the C is going up a second to become the third of the F. And the seventh of C, the B note, is going up a minor second to C to become the fifth of the F major 7. I will demonstrate that now. We have C major 7. And we're going to go up to F major 7. And we can keep playing on this pattern here. B flat, A flat, E flat, and so on and so forth. And we can keep going these patterns to until we get back to C. So thank you for watching, and check out more information about these chord cycles on chordcycles.tumblr.com. And you can read more about the details and technical aspects of cycling inversions and chord cycles. Thanks for watching.